the analogy that he used with the 3-card money game. He's like, I'm in the room with people whom I trust to be doing and helping me navigate the things that I don't have as much experience with. And so I feel comfortable. I think everything I'm being taken care of. But what if everybody is in on the game?
Were you a big fan of the Dave Chappelle show?
Yes, very big.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so was I. I mean, I wasn't like a, steady viewer though. Like I didn't, I wasn't one of those guys who watch every single episode every week and all that.
I had a friend who would, so I would end up seeing,
Right.
Yeah. He would just play all the clips. You gotta watch. So that's all.
Because back then I really wasn't, because back then we didn't have internet streaming or any. So basically, you had to just actually watch the thing when it was on.
DVR.
DVR. I didn't even have a DVR. I didn't even have a DVR. But basically, man, look, that Unforgiven stand-up he did. The Dave Chappelle's stand-ups now are just like public service announcements.
Pretty much.
The guy's just talking to like, this is not even about comedy anymore.
Commentary.
Yeah, it's commentary and like just, which is fine, it's interesting. That being said, it's like George Carlin.
Yeah.
It's like George Carlin comedy. Because like he just used to just talk to you about just
talking
things.
About what's going on.
Yeah. So he's basically was talking about how Comedy Central screwed him up and he doesn't own the rights to his name and his show and they're not paying him for anything, and he found out that they put his thing on Netflix. You know what's so funny about that? That I actually thought it was big key. That was surprising to me, I have to be honest. Like when I found that, I was like, oh, I thought the whole thing was part of his deal with Netflix, that he was having a deal with Comedy Central. So when I found out, this guy just literally just piggybacked off his success with Netflix.
That's what I thought.
And I was like, damn, man, that's a low blow.
Right.
That's low. They didn't even tell him. Like, they were like, hey, let's
tell him.
Sorry?
That's right, they didn't tell him.
They didn't tell him. So, yeah, it was very, very bad. But this is the weird thing about it, how I feel. What they did is not nice, but it's legal, like he said. And really, the conversation really is about how people screw over young artists, not about them doing something that's wrong.
Well, but it's twofold though, because he nuanced it. Because on one hand, you can have the debate about, all right, like I signed the contract. Like I signed the contract, I know what I'm getting. It's Y and Z. There's that thing. But he made a very key point. He was like, and it's the analogy that he used with the 3-card money game. He's like, I'm in the room with people whom I trust to be doing and helping me navigate the things that I don't have as much experience with. So I feel comfortable. I think everything I'm being taken care of. But what if everybody is in on the game? And that is the thing. What if the agents know the studio and the studio know the agents and they make deals with it? And so everybody's making a deal that's different from the one that I actually understand. That was the key that I thought was really important.
Yeah, no, but that is correct. That is what is happening. Everybody, like behind your back, like they'll all have an agreement that, listen, even your own agents will be like, hey, you know what?
It's a representation of the whole packaging concept.
Yeah, I mean yes, exactly. The packaging controversy with WGA and Hollywood, it's the exact thing. It's like they're not in the interest of the writer and the actors isn't what they're interested in.
Right.
It's the package.
Their interest and the interest of the studio.
Yeah, so they will literally put a worse writer on a project if it makes sense for the package. They will put a worse writer.
Or they will negotiate a set of numbers that pay them more on the back end.
Yeah, no, but
they deal with the studio to package.
Yeah, but what I'm even saying is even about the representation level. Yeah, what I'm saying is that they will do a thing where you could be the perfect writer or director or whatever for the film, and you know it. And your own agents will work against you and create a situation whereby, listen, they are representing another client at the agency who will bring in more money on the package, will be better for the package. And even though they represent you, they will actually work with other agents who represent the other guy because it's better for the agency and create a package. So what I'm saying is that they actually screw you creatively out of work and then try and convince you that you were never actually right for it in the first place. You know, which is the reason why I'm saying that with him, he's right. I listen when they were actually doing the deal. So let's say we go back in time, like and Dave Chappelle is doing the deal. It's probably a situation where everybody in that negotiation came to an agreement that listen, he's young, you know, blah blah. What can you give us?
Yeah,
okay,
look, Barry, you know what else are you gonna get, Barry?
Yeah, you know. So what are you gonna give? Yeah, and that right.
But he said another part of the element is that when it came time for them to pay him what he was owed because they never thought it would be that much.
Sorry, I don't understand. You said that when they said that again? Say that again.
He also said that when he negotiated the deal, he negotiated, which wasn't great. But because of the level of success, it still meant that they ended up owing him a whole lot of money that they then didn't want to pay him. They wanted to pay him a percentage of that money. And so that's one of when he left, that was part of the thing they were in conflict with. That's one reason why he didn't get paid anything at all because he left and he breached his contract. But that was one of the conflicts that they were having is because even the contract that they negotiated, the money that was owed was so much that they were trying to pay a tenth of that amount.
Oh, right. Well, look, you know what the funny thing is that I feel this is more of a cautionary tale for young artists and creators coming through because most people will not have the clout that Dave Chappelle does. He's going to get what he wants because of who he is. It's not in Comedy Central's interest now to fight him on this. It just isn't. It's just not in their interest because he's telling them everybody boycott Chappelle's show, boycott. And the thing is, it's not even about that. It's not even about the boycott because I don't think that's going to have that much of an effect. People are still going to watch it.
No.
The real issue is the PR damage because he's going to keep hammering you and it's going to affect you long term. It's not worth it for Comedy Central. It's like he's too famous. He's too powerful in the industry. If it was any other person, they would just laugh. They'd be like, okay, whatever. It's Dave Chappelle. It's like, listen, man, this is a problem because down the line, people are going to keep associating you with screwing people over.
Right.
Whether or not you do it or not. And they already feel a type of way because of what happened with him in the past.
Right.
Now that he's coming. Because back then, people were not all supporting Dave Chappelle back then.
No, because they spun the narrative well enough.
Yeah, they said, oh, he's crazy, it's him, he's lost it, or whatever.
Like you said, he's like, they said I was a drug addict. He's like, which I didn't do any of that shit, but I do it now.
Yeah. So yeah, now, I mean, listen, it's a case of, I'm glad he's doing it because he's holding these guys accountable, but he made very good points in the sense that he said the people who are there now probably don't even know. They've all changed. Like the people who did this, the guys who are there now just saw an opportunity. They don't know what happened. So now I'm letting you guys know that you go and look at the books and see what happened. So now he's like, you go and look at what your predecessors did to me, you know, and you make it right. I like what he's doing because this sort of thing rarely ever happens in Hollywood. They just screw you over and it's over.
And
because
it all rolls on.
Yeah, because those people never become famous.
And those new people also think, man, this is just the way it is. So when they get to a point where they've got to decide whether or not to screw a person over, they screw the person over.
They screw the person over. You know.
So, no, you're right. It's big. It's important.
Brown shirts, man. Anyway. Yeah. That's the deal.
Yeah.
So I actually feel like he's right. I feel like regardless of him being right, it isn't like they did anything wrong. I feel this is just a lesson of how carefully you must take your deals when you do them as a young creator. I've been there, like people, you know, you just have to be careful because...
You have to be careful, and even in being careful, you might find yourself in the same position.
Sorry, what did you say?
I said you have to be careful, and even in being careful, you might find yourself in the same position because...
True.
9 out of 10 young artists who are in his circumstance who get offered a show are going to take whatever deal come with that show.
Sorry, what did you say? Yeah, I missed that. You said that 9?
Because 9 out of 10 artists who find themselves in the challenged circumstance he was in, financially, personally, and you get offered a TV show, you probably are going to take, you're not going to push that deal too far because you don't want to lose it.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, that is what they bank on as the industry. Yeah. They bank on that. It's like, look, we can have a situation where, why the hell are you take what we give you? That's what they call paying. Like, listen, you have to make some sacrifices in the beginning. The whole Me Too movement is based on the same concept. It's like, hey, you know, this is what it is.
That's what it is.
Man, everything's a negotiation.
Yeah. Anyway, look, that's it. We'll see what happens. I'm hungry. I need to go and get some food. All right.
All right, you do that.